Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Laura Salem, and I'm the supervisor for the English Learner Program in Lincoln Public Schools. Welcome to our Learning Lunch, Building Bridges, How Lincoln Public Schools Welcomes Newcomers. I'm happy to welcome you this afternoon. I have some colleagues that are going to be joining me this afternoon as part of this afternoon's presentation. Before I begin, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I would be remiss if I didn't also give a shout out to all of the colleagues that are in my department who aren't part of this presentation. Good grief, why am I so nervous? If I didn't give a shout out to all of the colleagues that are in my department who are also part of welcoming newcomers to Lincoln Public Schools. Joe Rousseau, who is our Native American Grant Coordinator, Chris Schefter, who is our Graduation Pathways Supervisor, Efrain Jimenez, who is our Homeless Coordinator, Lindsay Luley, who is our Title Program Supervisor, Ann Caruso, who is our Grants Coordinator, Mackenzie Hahn, who is our Budget Supervisor, Rhonda Meyer, who is our Office Technician, and Marco Pedroza, who is our Director of Federal Programs. All of these people who are equally important in welcoming newcomers in this district and who also could be part of this presentation this afternoon. So I'm very proud to be part of this team and also part of this district who does an amazing job in welcoming newcomers to our district and to our community. I'm going to begin the presentation this afternoon and share a little bit about what I do as part of my role in welcoming newcomers to Lincoln Public Schools as part of my work as the supervisor for the English Learner Program. The mission of the Federal Programs Department is to empower students and families, embrace diversity, and to connect home, school, and community. All of the programs within our department feel strongly about this mission, and that's what we do together as a team. And all of the work that we do in each of our programs really works together to focus on this mission. So this afternoon, we have an open house at our Welcome Center, and there are a few paper copies of this map at the back table, and you're all welcome to join us there this afternoon from 2 to 5 if you'd like to see a little bit about what we do there. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the work that we do at our Welcome Center and share a little bit about the staff that works at that center. So Jenny Zeleny is our assessment specialist, and she works together with Hung Bui, who is our Welcome Center registrar. The work that they do is part of that process where all students who begin their journey in Lincoln Public Schools that may qualify for support in the English Learner Program begin their journey. So all students who enroll in Lincoln Public Schools complete the online registration. And in that online registration, we have embedded the home language survey, which is something that's required by the state of Nebraska in Rule 15. And in Rule 15, the 3 questions that are included in that home language survey include: what is the language your student first learned to speak? What is the language that your student uses most often? And what is the language that's used at home primarily, regardless of the language that your student speaks? Those 3 questions, if a language other than English is given for any of those questions, if a language other than English is given, then a student is referred to our Welcome Center. Our staff works to schedule an appointment with that family to help meet with them to see if they may qualify for English supports through our English Learner Program. Another important way that students may reach us at the Welcome Center might be through one of our resettlement agencies in the city. So if they don't complete that online registration, then one of the agencies might help to connect a student and their family to our Welcome Center. They go through that same process of scheduling an appointment with us, and then our staff might help them to complete that online registration at their appointment. So at our Welcome Center, Jenny, with the support of one of our bilingual liaisons, who Oscar is going to talk about as part of his team, will work together with that family to complete that interview. That parent interview provides us with a lot of really important information about those students before they might begin school. So we are talking to families about things like what kind of school did your student attend before coming to Lincoln, what kind of supports they might need as far as learning supports they may need at school. We may get a little bit of background health information about school. We ask students questions about their favorite subjects in school. We might ask students about what their hopes are for themselves after they leave school. We get information about what kind of language supports parents need when their students are at school. And then Jenny works with that student or students, if that family has more than one student, to complete the language proficiency assessment. That assessment includes a writing component. It also includes a reading, a speaking, and a listening component. And then for our middle school and high school students, we also do a math proficiency assessment. During the assessment time, our bilingual liaison, or sometimes we have an hourly interpreter that helps during that appointment. If we have a liaison, if we have a language that our bilingual liaison that doesn't speak that language available. So while that assessment is happening, then that liaison or interpreter is helping the family complete other information that is needed for the school. So they might complete a lunch application, or they might be helping them fill out other paperwork that's needed before the student can start school. After the assessment is completed, then Jenny brings the student or students back to the meeting room with their parents, and she goes over all of the information from the assessment. The parents have all of that information shared with them, and then they have an opportunity, if they would like, for their student to accept and participate in the EL program. Parents have that choice, and then we sign all of the paperwork, and everything that student needs in order to start school is completed before they leave the Welcome Center. We make sure that they have everything taken care of before they leave our office that day. If that student needs transportation, we have all of that information taken care of before they leave our office. Based on that assessment, students are assigned a level, and so students who are at the beginning stages of English learning may be at level 1, all the way up through level 4. Students who would be at level 4 are considered proficient in our program and would not qualify for English supports. These schools listed here would be considered single sites in our district at elementary, and so the students that would attend these schools live in the neighborhoods where these schools are, elementary schools. And then these elementary schools and middle and high schools are considered cluster sites. And so the students that would attend these schools, for example, a student that might live in the Friedstrom attendance area and would qualify for EL services would go to Campbell Elementary School. The students that would go to Campbell would receive transportation if they lived in that Friedstrom attendance area. So all of these students receive transportation to those cluster site schools at elementary and middle school. Our high school students at this time do not receive transportation. In addition to my federal programs department, I also have a lot of teachers that I get to work with. And so at this time we have 129 EL teachers in our district. We're working to hire 39 EL paras across the district, elementary, middle, and high school. So if you're interested, or you know anyone who's interested in being an EL para, please ask them to apply. We also have 5 EL teacher leaders, and those are EL teachers who work here at the district office, and they work to support our EL teachers, but also teachers, general education teachers across the district. They also work to write curriculum and support professional development for our teachers across the district. I'm really fortunate to work with those teacher leaders, and they are an amazing group of people. Molly Herron, Holly Tracy, Rachel Ballawig, Jen Wickard, and Michelle Story-Cole are our EL teacher leaders. And then I also have the good fortune to work with the language department curriculum specialist, Dr. Kate Damgard, in the curriculum department. In Lincoln Public Schools, this is not just representative of the EL program, but in our district, we serve students in our district from 123 different countries who speak 133 different home languages. So we serve a very diverse population of students in our public school district. We're very fortunate. These numbers change all of the time, so I updated these numbers just yesterday. In our program, in our EL program, right now, we have 3,484 students that are served in the EL program, and this is broken down by levels 1 through 5. We also have 264 students whose parents have opted to not have them served in the EL program, and those are also broken down by levels 1 through 5. Each year, our students, all students, those who participate or whose parents opt them out of the EL program, they participate in an annual assessment called the ELPA, and that is an assessment that measures their progress in the 4 areas of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. That's a computer-based assessment that they take in the springtime, and they get a score based on those same 5 levels, 1 through 5. Students score kind of in 3 different areas: emerging, progressing, and proficient. Students are able to exit the EL program when they are overall scoring in the proficient area, which means that in those 4 domains, they are scoring all 4s and 5s. And that comes through our state guidance, Rule 15. That we follow for all areas in the EL program. This year in our EL program, we had 352 students that exited the EL program, which was approximately 9% of our total population of students. Every year we exit about that same number of students, and then every year we add about that same number of students who enroll in our program each year. So it's kind of a big circle every year. We exit as many students as we add each year, and so that is about our EL program in a nutshell. So at this time, I'm going to turn things over to Oscar, and he's going to share a little bit of information about the bilingual program, or the bilingual liaisons, and at the end of our presentation, each of us will have an opportunity to answer some questions.
Well, good day to you all. What a pleasure to see you. Well, before we get started, I'm happy to report that Lincoln has become the 2nd city in the nation to receive a 4-star welcoming certification. And that is due to the work that every one of you and community service providers here in this in Lincoln, the work that they're doing with immigrant, refugee, and all families. So I'm very happy to report that piece. We just celebrated the certification, a weekend ago. My name is Oscar Rios Pajia. I serve in the capacity of cultural specialist, bilingual liaison coordinator for this district. This is my 26th year working in this capacity, and I would not find a better position in terms of the learning experience that I keep telling my peers. I would not find a university in this community or in this country that would teach me what I know today after 26 years of working with immigrants, refugees, and all families, including this community. 42,000 plus students, 43.4% families qualify for free and reduced lunch. We work directly with 3 refugee relocation agencies, Lutheran Family Services, Catholic Social Services, and now the Refugee Empowerment Center, which is a new one who has joined the team. They work directly with the federal government when it comes to allocating families to different states across the nation. And those are the numbers, as Dr. Salem has included in her presentation, 3,484 students. Why do we come to the United States? Well, those are some of the reasons why we are here, including myself. And the one I will focus on is survival. The innate ability to breathe. We don't have time to go into all of them, but those are the main reasons: family reunification, better way of living, so on and so forth. And each one of you would do the same if you were living in a different country. I want to focus a little bit on this graph. This is a 35 years of numbers that Lincoln Public Schools has kept accurately. This is the influx of immigrant and refugee students coming to this district for the past 35 years, as I said. And these are the languages that we speak, the largest: Spanish, Arabic, Kurdish, Vietnamese, Karen, Pashto, Ukrainian, Kurmanji, Nuer, Dari. I would add other ones to that list: Portuguese, Chinese, Swahili from Africa, and I need to update these as we speak, because the human mobility, it's happening as we speak. And I'm going to tell you more about human mobility. Why, so let me go back. For so long, I looked at these graphs, all right, because we put these numbers together here. Well, not we, but Dr. Salem and her team puts those numbers. We are a supporting team to her role. But there was a point in time when I had to look at these numbers and say, well, I understand these numbers fairly well, but does Lincoln or does LPS understands what we are seeing? So I decided to really look into the graph a little bit deeper. So I got into a little research project and look at what happened in the world every single year for 35 years. And what I noticed is that every 2 years, 2-3 years, something major happens in the world, whether that be genocide, war, political, religious turmoil, famine. There's going to be human mobility across the globe. Not only we're going to receive our share of that human mobility. So in the 90s, as you can see, I can tell you what happened in Vietnam, what happened in Russia, the collapse of the Soviet Union, Iraq, Gulf War I, Gulf War II, the ethnic cleansing in between Bosnia and Serbo-Croats in former Yugoslavia. And then the new waves of Iraqi and Kurdish, because what was happening in Iraq. So I can walk you through everything that happened during 35 years in order for you to understand why it is that we are here and why it is that Lincoln Public Schools serves these families and why it is that the federal government tells the states, you know what, we are good people and we are going to create these services for the people of the larger global community. I was hired back in 1999 to serve those families coming from Central America, running away from destruction when Hurricane Mitch hit Central American countries and destroyed many of those countries. That's when the American or North American government created the temporary protection services for Central America. So it went away a couple of years ago or so. So I was hired. So I remember those times when I would go to the railroad tracks and pick up children traveling on trains and their families, coming from Central American countries. But some people think I am making this up, but no, this has been my experience. Dr. Pedrosa was hired right after, because the influx of immigrants and refugees coming from Central America was such that we need to hire more people. Today we have 30 bilingual liaisons because of what happens in the world. I'm not going to spend much time over here. We can have a different conversation at some other point in time. But this is the team that I supervise. And as I say again, I would not change this. Well, of course, unless they can kick me out, but as long as I can, I'll work with this global community, within this community, the bilingual liaison team. So we have our Iraqi Muslim bilingual liaisons, Kurdish Kurmanji bilingual liaisons, Karen Burmese bilingual liaisons, Spanish bilingual liaisons. We have 10 or Vietnamese bilingual liaisons, or Afghan, Dari, Pashto speaking bilingual liaisons, Russian, Ukrainian bilingual liaisons, and of course, Gabriela Granados, migrant education recruiter, and I know Monica will talk about her position a little bit, but what is our role? Our role is to help. We serve as the conduit for communication between Lincoln Public Schools, the community, and homes. We have seen a pandemic. We have guided this district in many of the struggles that we go through. So this is an important piece to have in an education system. And let me tell you, there are only few districts in these nations that has the bilingual liaison support as we do within Lincoln Public Schools. And I'm so proud to say that. And that's thanks to this community, and that's one of the reasons why we are number 2 when it comes to a welcoming environment for immigrants and refugee students and families. So this is what we do: in person, Zoom, 3-way conversation. We try to do our best in order to meet the needs of our immigrant and refugee families, those who do not know how to navigate the system. We serve. I mean, these are only few of the services that we provide to this district, but it is our responsibility to learn everything in terms of how every department operates in order to support the academic needs of a student, K through 12, and through family literacy projects across these districts, and Monica will talk a little bit about that. Let's see if I can play this 2-minute presentation so that you can have an idea of what we do. So once these families show up at the new Welcome Center, we know that we have to be ready to serve them. They're welcomed by a bilingual liaison who speaks their language. The bilingual liaison and the family fill out all of the paperwork, census information, health history, prior education, special education needs, pretty much everything that has to do with the educational development of that child.
And then the last grade that you finished in California.
While that is taking place, there is the assessment person who comes and takes that child to another room to determine their level of skills in the English language.
And then for you, Esther, you will write about a day that you want to remember.
In the area of reading, writing, and math. So this gives us an understanding of what type of support we need to give them.
You guys did excellent. You should be very proud of yourselves.
Each family has a dream and has a definition of education, no matter where they come from, no matter their educational backgrounds, they will want the best for their children. That was the old Welcome Center, Park Middle School. At 2 o'clock, hopefully some of you will be able to see and experience the new Welcome Center, expanded, right? I'm so proud how far we have gone, and that's thanks to this community. So thank you for being here again.
Hello, everyone. I am Monica Asher, and I'm going to share some information about two programs that I work with, Family Literacy and the Title I Part C Migrant Education Program. Maybe. Family literacy started in 2009 in the district, and it started with a grant through the National Center for Families Learning. And it's their model. It's a 4-component model. We've really adopted that model. We've stayed true to all 4 components, and I think that's why we've consistently had this program in our district, and it's going strong, and it's grown since then. So the 4-component model is adult education, and in our district, that adult education is providing language, English classes for the families. They come to our schools, their child's school, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, starting in September through the first week in May, and they're a part of this program, learning English a good portion of that time. The second component is children's education, and their children are in school. They're school-age children, but we also provide childcare for children that are not quite old enough for school, and so that's something that it's not babysitting. We definitely provide kind of a head start for them before they enter school, and so they can have some social skills and be around other children. And then the third component is parent and child together time. We call it PAC time. And that's where the parents go into their child's classroom and work alongside their child. So it's not observing, it's not volunteering in the classroom, it's really becoming a student in the classroom so that they understand how their child is learning, they understand how things are being taught. We want them to be able to educate their child at home and see the importance of their part in that. And a lot of times the parents have never been to school themselves, or school looked very differently to them. And so it's a great experience. Debriefing is what happens when they come back from that experience each week, to talk with the other parents about what they learned, questions they might have, and we really extend that learning. So by the end of the year, they really have a good idea of what the education system looks like here and how they can play a role in that. Parent time is the 4th component, and it's where we have once a week, we have the school and community come and share information about things that the parents are interested in. Maybe it's resources that they want to know more about, or we have maybe a police officer come and talk about what the police system looks like here, or a curriculum specialist come and talk about what curriculums we use within the schools. One of the parent groups had a couple of stray dogs in their neighborhood, and we had the health department come and talk about what they could do if they had that. So we want to empower families. We want to provide information because all of those things help them be good parents. So currently, we just started, we're 1 to 2 weeks in the program, and depending on the school, we have 9 programs right now in Lincoln Public Schools. We serve 11 schools. 2 of our afternoon programs at elementary schools provide services to middle school parents because we really want to extend that learning, and PAC time looks a little bit different, but we definitely make that work. So like I said, they come 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, every day their child is in school. And then right now we have 116 parents that are enrolled, 49 children in childcare, and we're serving 16 different languages. Here's some pictures of the different parts of the program that I just explained. I think that something that is always interesting is pack time is very scary. It's not something that the parents enjoy at the beginning. They're very intimidated to go into that classroom. But once they experience it and it becomes more familiar to them, it's one of their favorite times of the week. So it's really great to see that growth in the families and to see the families really become part of the school. They let us know what they don't like, what they like, and they have such great communication with the principal, the teachers, and they're just a part of those schools that we're in. The other program that I work with is the Title I Part C Migrant Education Program, and this is a federally funded program. It started in 1966, and it's really for families that are that move from place to place for work. It's administered through the Nebraska Department of Education, and we have had it with an LPS, or we've coordinated it with LPS since 2004. This year, there's a little bit of a change. We are going to be a regional project, and so our Educational Service Unit 18, that also serves Lincoln, is taking over the Southeast region, which will be 14 counties and 42 districts, and we'll be serving students across that area. We're currently hiring, so if anyone's interested in working with this program, or if you know anyone, we would love to have them apply. But we last year had 4,957 eligible children that were identified in the state of Nebraska, and in our region, we have 196 eligible children, and around 80 of those students are within LPS. As I said, the way that they qualify for this program is that their families are moving here for work. And the qualifying jobs in this area are meat processing or meat packing plants, cultivating or preparing of the soil, or we have a lot of detasseling, like they come for 3 or 4 weeks to detassel and then move to the next place for work. We have dairy and eggs is another one, and the nurseries in the area. And so that's, of course, seasonal. And so the mobility of families and their children, that does pause their learning. And so our job is to try to make up for that. And so we provide different services with families. We've done groups with our social workers to work. It's called Strong. And Rhea is going to talk about that a little bit. We really focus on summer programming because there's, we want to give them different opportunities that they may not have had. We really encourage them and work with them on a regular basis to attend summer school and talk to the parents about the importance of that as well. We do backpacks at the beginning of the year. All students in the program receive free meals, free lunches. We provide educational materials and books. Parent education is a big portion of this. We do home visits and those kinds of things, and really want parents to, kind of similar to family literacy, we bring those resources to them, let them know what's available to them in this area, and also college and graduation support too. So a lot of those extra services that we provide. And now Rhea is going to talk a little bit about her position.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rhea Al-Zuhair, and I am the new American Family Engagement Specialist, and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about what we are doing to help newcomers feel supported and navigating Lincoln. So the new American Family Engagement Specialist work together with the bilingual liaison, the EL teachers, the social workers, and counselors to support the new American families arriving to Lincoln. I put this flyer up because this is the first thing where I meet the families. So there is an orientation that held at the Welcome Center monthly. And through this orientation, we can help the families know more about the US system, the Lincoln policies, how can they help their kids start and be supportive. So they need to navigate the schooling system. We provide the culturally responsive support during this orientation. Our goal is to connect the families to the resources and the opportunities within LPS and the Lincoln community, and this builds the connection with all nonprofit organizations that are all working together to help immigrants and refugees. I like this slide because this summarizes all the nonprofit organizations that I'm proud and honored to work with. Not all of them are mentioned here, but those are the most nonprofit that I work with in supporting those families. In Lincoln Public Schools, we are serving 1,173 refugees students. Those are the students that are marked as refugees within the last 5 years. So if you can see that I mostly work with populations from Afghanistan, Syria, and Ukraine. We have other refugees for sure, but those are the big populations that I'm working with. My role is to assess the family's needs. So while bilingual liaison work with the students in the buildings, I work with the family. And our goal is to educate the family and empower them so they can provide the environment for their students to excel in their education learning. So we assess the families by conducting home visits. So the first thing when I go on home visits, I gather data, I learn more about the needs of the families, I can ask their level of education, how can I be supportive in certain ways. We provide also educational resources. We coordinate events and orientation sessions. We host families meeting in several schools. We plan for presentations that highlight the culture awareness for school staff. So staff can know more about the population that they are working with, so it'll make it easier for them to reach out to them and learn more about them so they understand the culture. Community building, we organize culture exchange events to foster understanding and integration between refugee families and the community. Examples, we had some culture days. We built the cricket club for the Afghan community, music classes for the Ukraine. And this is all based on the data that we collect when we visit them, so we know their interest, what are the things that they are looking for and they miss in their homeland. Why is family engagement important for success of new American students? Family engagement is already, or everybody knows the importance of family engagement in any education system. So add to it the language barrier, the new community, the culture shock that families go through when they first come here. So some of the families have never been in schools before. Some of them are comparing their schools in their homeland with the new system, so they need to know more so they can be good advocate for their kids. So we improve the academic outcome, we equip the parents with the knowledge of the US education system, we empower them to advocate for their children, as I said, and connect the home culture with new school environment. Those are some things that we do. This is a partnership with Lux Art Center. Workshop was held in Isley Library, and through this workshop, these two Ukrainian students had a scholarship for a summer art camp because the facilitator saw that they are so talented in working with clay. We organized the Ukrainian Spring Picnic. We coordinated the Afghan Prime Time, where we have families come together, hear a story about a refugee experience, and like to let them feel some of the same experience they went through. And after reading the story, we did some activities with the same genre. We also held the Foundation to Success Camp. This is for high schoolers. We take them to the UNL. They learn some motivational skills, setting goals, and then we take them in a tour in UNL in a way to motivate them to learn more about the options that they have after graduating high school. Shantan is an immigrant from Nepal, and through the Community Crops program he already owned his farm and planting some vegetables that they miss from their country. Hamidullah Aslami received his bassinet through the United Way Safe Sleep program. This picture is from one of the new family orientation held at Lincoln High. CPR training at Campbell, culture orientation for staff and admins. And the picture here is for the Afghan study, the Center for Afghan Study and Regional Studies from UNO came to visit and talk to the high schoolers about the team experience of immigration. One day, the team the team members were immigrants, and they made it in the community. So this can motivate those kids to excel in their learning process. Last year, we started the STRONG program, and STRONG stands for Supporting Transition Resilience for Newcomer Groups. And this is a based group intervention that promotes resilience and reduces the psychological distress among newcomer students. They have a safe place to sit together, speak their language, and talk about the trauma that they went through. And then they can also share it or throw it out with others who pass through the same experience. So through this program, and we are still ongoing this year, through this program, the kids can build some skills and just giving them a way to learn more about choices and options. We have two curriculum, one for the secondary and one for the elementary. It was held last year at Park, Color, and Elliott, right, Patrice? Oh, yeah. And then the mental health clinicians or the social workers, the psychologists are all go through training so they can be trained how to coordinate those groups. I will leave this time now for questions, and you are free to ask the team, the members. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Right? So, I think everyone can hear me. I have a really loud voice. Oh, okay.
Monica's gonna Donahue it and bring you the microphone.
Yay. So my question about that is, for those students
Yep.
that don't enter the ELL program,
Yeah.
what are some of the barriers that they're experiencing in the schoolroom? I mean, teachers are experiencing the barriers, students and families. Can you talk a little bit about what you do to help those students that, I mean, I'm sure right now, I can say this in this room, a lot of families just don't want to identify that need. So how do you help those families?
Sure. So there's a lot of reasons why a family might choose for their student to not participate, and that can happen at all different levels, like you saw. Some of the reasons why parents might choose for their students not to participate could be there's a school just down the street, and they don't want them to travel far to go to another school. That might be one of the biggest reasons I hear. But as far as how do we support those students, that's where our teacher leaders come in. And they work really hard to support the teachers in those buildings, or also in the buildings where we do have EL teams and those parents opt for their students not to participate. The teacher leaders work really hard to partner with teachers to help them understand how to provide strategies and scaffolds to support those students that are in their classrooms who may still need language support but aren't participating directly in the EL program. So when parents make that decision at the Welcome Center, we talk to them about making sure that they understand what that support does look like when they participate in the EL program. When that happens later, those parents all meet with me personally, and we have those conversations about what that's going to look like without that direct support. But I also do talk to them about someone will be checking in with your student's teacher, and that will not mean direct support to your student, but that support comes through the support to your child's teacher. And we want to make sure, and we let them know, we're still responsible for making sure your student is successful, but that's going to come in a different way. And that comes through the support of a teacher leader to that student's classroom teacher. Parents always have the option of coming back or changing their mind if they do need that support, and sometimes they do. Sometimes they recognize that this is not working, and when they come to my office, I say, I want to, and if the student comes with them, I say, make sure you tell your parent, if things are not working for you, we want to make sure that we're making a different decision so that you can be as successful as possible as soon as possible. Don't feel like you're not telling your parent because of whatever reason, but we want to make sure you're being successful, and if that comes through that support or making a different choice, but we are still responsible for making sure they're being successful. So they do a lot of work with those classroom teachers through professional development, but also through one-on-one partnerships with helping them understand how to make their curriculum more accessible in the general education classroom. Sure, you bet.
Even though the student may not be receiving ALL services, the parents are still being served by bilingual liaisons. So that for those 250 families who say, you know, my kid is not going to be in that classroom, we still serve the families, relating any information they may need to school and back and forth. Yeah.
Other questions for anyone?
Thank you. This is for Monica. So I'm just wondering, how do you get your referrals for your migrant families? Because they don't necessarily identify themselves as such when they enter the system.
So our referrals with the migrant education program that's another benefit of our Welcome Center within the district. Our liaisons are a huge support to that when they come in. That's a question on the parent survey, and it goes to our recruiter, which is Gabriella, and Gabriella will go to the family, do an interview to see if they qualify, and provide that service. In the regional area, we're getting to know the school districts, and they are sharing that information with us so we can go out and do one-on-one support and get that information from the parents to see if they do qualify. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to ask one or all of you if you have any experience with this, with the immigration enforcement that's been happening this year under this new administration. Has anything about your strategy for serving these families changed? That's a open-ended question. So.
I think we are more vigilant in terms of what our families may need in the area of mental health, in the area of community services. We are not going to, we change in a way, meaning we double our efforts or triple our efforts during times of uncertainty. And like I say, and we say at times, we've been here before. So this is just another time when we have to come together as a community and maintain our line of communication wide open so that we can definitely help when needed. But
what's the best way for the wider community to help you do that work?
okay, well, let me. You're already doing it by being here, by educating yourselves in terms of what we do. What we have learned is that many times our community members are not aware of what Lincoln Public Schools or any other service provider out there does for the families, for our communities, for the people with whom we work. So simply understanding and being that voice when you are out there with your own communities and say, I think you have that wrong, let's put it that way. This is what I know and this is what I've seen. I think your word of mouth in terms of what we do will serve as well.
I don't think I have anything to add to that. I just think being here and being part of our welcoming community and, helping people feel connected and welcome when they're out in our community. And, I don't think I have anything else to add to that. Are there any other questions? Yeah.
Are there any gaps that you've identified, maybe on the back end of that question, within our community that it would be helpful for the broader service community to be aware of?
There's one that I can think about. Adopting a refugee or immigrant family and becoming a friend to them. I have heard so many times from my neighbors, well, we want them to adapt. We want them to acculturate. We want them to assimilate what we do. And I say to them, we'll gladly do so if you guide us through that process, if you become our friends. So that be the gap. But it goes both ways, not only you. Our immigrants and refugee families must understand that it is okay to be friends with you. And we want to, but we don't know how. We don't know how. So help us through that process. And I think the acculturation process will go faster and quicker. That's my estimation.
I'm just going to remind you that we have our open house this afternoon starting at 2. And our Welcome Center is located just on the north side of the Meadow Lane Shopping Center. So you'll enter on X Street. So don't get stuck by Ace. Don't go to Honest Abe's unless you want a burger. There are a few paper maps on the back table, but you can also put it into Google Maps. We are in Google Maps. So, but we'd love to see you there. We'll have some treats there, and some of our staff will be there as well. And so we would love to see you there, and we thank you so very much for your time this afternoon.